Hey, welcome back to the show. It's the 18th of November. Check in real quick on some Trump picks. Biden's decision on long-range missiles in Ukraine. I'm a little concerned so far about some of Trump's picks. Of course, this is something that happens every election cycle. We think of the gravitas, the experience of the people being appointed by a White House. And imagine the challenge. Thousands and thousands of jobs need to be filled. Of course, the most important being the cabinet positions. And I have some concerns over the experience level of some of the nominees and their given roles. I fully understand and I'm on board. Trump wants loyalists in his cabinet, as any president would. We want loyalists, of course. We want people that uphold the Constitution and live by the rules of the game. I'm a little concerned by some of the rhetoric I'm hearing out of the Trump campaign and Donald Trump about what some of these folks can do when they get into these positions. Remember now, the executive branch enforces the laws passed by Congress. What's been developing over the past 15, 20 years, and maybe a little longer, is the usurpation of the legislative process by department heads in the executive branch, essentially making laws through regulation and rules. This is something U.S. Congress has willingly given up to protect itself in the re-election cycle. But I've argued, I've heard Republicans argue, we need to restore that power back to the legislative branch. And I'm hearing some things from the Trump candidates and Trump himself that suggest that they're going to be making a whole bunch of new rules, regulations, laws. Yet we already know we're overregulated. I know the Trump campaign is going to be all in on supply side economics, reducing taxes on capital to enhance investment, reducing regulations on business to enhance investment output. And in the past, when supply side economics has been tried, it's failed because there's been no effort to cut spending. And thankfully, now we're hearing about cutting spending. Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk being tasked with creating a commission to create a more efficient federal government by reducing the size of government, I think is really positive. We haven't heard such a deliberate effort in decades. So I'm all on board that. But we have to adhere to the Constitution. And we don't want laws made from the executive branch. Marco Rubio, Secretary of State. Okay. I like that they've come back together. Remember, Rubio was quite a dick to Trump in his first campaign, his first term. Not a huge fan of Marco Rubio. Don't see him as a big deal on the international stage. He does have some experience. Senate Foreign Relations Committee, Senate Intelligence Committee, a hawk on China. Also part of the Gang of Eight, trying to expand immigration and citizenship for illegal immigrants. So just the personality, the stature of the man, the gravitas I don't see. Matt Gaetz is Attorney General. Not a fan of Matt Gaetz at all. Don't like his face. Don't like his behavior. Don't like the way he talks. A tough guy. I'm sure he'll get things done. But he has some baggage that he brings to the process. The fact that he resigned so quickly bothers me as well, because I believe there's an effort to put in Trump loyalists. And by the way, this applies to the Senate seats as well, like Marco Rubio. I think there's an effort to get Laura into the U.S. House or Senate through an appointment by Ron DeSantis. Not a big fan of that activity. Now, Donald Trump doesn't want to give too much unnecessary ammunition to the other side. They're going to be all over him for the next 4 years. Todd Blanche, the Deputy Attorney General, he has experience. He helped Trump in his cases. Seems cool to me. RFK is the Health and Human Services Director. Oof, not a fan of RFK. Glad he came to our side. Seemed to be helpful to Trump. He left the Democratic Party. No, let me rephrase that. The Democratic Party left him. This is going to sound cold. I can't listen to him. His voice. I know he's challenged by health issues, but I can't listen to that guy. And he's the guy that's talking. Trump said, I'm going to unleash you. This is the area I'm most concerned about, making laws through regulations and rules with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in place there. He has some background in this world. Don't mess with my McDonald's, although I wouldn't mind the fries being cooked in beef tallow rather than all the ingredients they're cooked in now, seed oils and the other ingredients. And I said, not a huge fan of this pick. Doug Collins, Secretary of Veterans Affairs, nice pick. Elise Stefanik, UN Ambassador. Why? Because she was aggressive with some Ivy League presidents during a congressional hearing. Nice education. Impressive woman. I guess she should negotiate. She can make a point. She can advocate for Trump. A little concern there. Tom Homan as border czar, although I would have liked to see him as head of DHS, Department of Homeland Security. Pete Hegseth, Defense Secretary. Impressive guy. Attractive man. A stud of a guy. Boy, oh boy. Talk about an $800 billion budget. We need experienced professionals here, right? We think about having knowledge of the department they're going to run, having some experience in that world. But we're also talking management. At every one of these departments, we're talking management stuff. We're talking management of personnel in huge departments and huge budgets. He has zero experience in managing it. The Pentagon is a massive, massive organization. I'm all in getting woke and DEI and all that stuff out of the Department of Defense, but this concerns me. He has a decent military background, major, still quite a ways from the top when it comes to military rank. Let's hope for the best there. Not too excited with that one. Mike Waltz, National Security Advisor, I'm on board. Kristi Noem, Secretary of Homeland Security. No, this should have gone to Homan. Kristi Noem, what does she know about the Department of Homeland Security? Another massive bureaucracy. What experience does she have in managing anything like this? This is the woman who bragged about shooting her dog, of course. Told the story of shooting her dog. I think this is troublesome. DHS is a massive, massive department. DHS should be broken up, of course. Hopefully she'll be on board that. If she breaks up DHS, I'll be very happy. Doug Burgum is Secretary of Interior, all in. Nice selection. John Ratcliffe, CIA Director, excellent. Tulsi Gabbard, Director of National Intelligence. I like Tulsi, impressed with her background. But again, where's the experience? Now, I know Biden administration, his picks didn't have experience. The first Trump administration, the Obama administration, the Bush administration. Anyway, her military background has nothing related to this job. She's apparently a very bright woman, smart, excellent communicator. Hope for the best there. Lee Zeldin, EPA Administrator. Okay, a politician, but zero experience in the environmental world. Mike Huckabee, UN Ambassador to Israel, a faithful Christian, loves Israel. Okay, no problems there. Department of Government Efficiency. Now, they list as a department. I hear this is going to be a committee. In order for it to become a department, you need Congress. So this is a misnomer. I am impressed that they're talking about eliminating departments, cutting government spending, reducing payrolls. These two guys have come from the business world where they have demonstrated interest in efficiency and proven it. A little concerned about the cryptocurrency impacts here. But I do like to talk about cutting spending, reducing government, getting rid of government agencies like the Department of Education. Brendan Carr, FCC Chairman. Okay, he's got some experience there. Will McGinley, White House Counsel. Nice. Sergio Gore, Presidential Personnel Office, no problem. Stephen Chung, White House Communications Director. He's got experience. He's been doing this for a while. Caroline Leavitt as the National Press Secretary, very impressive young woman, speaks well. He's got some good-looking people in his cabinet, which is important to Trump. Got some assistants to the president and deputy's chief of staff, Dan Scavino and Stephen Miller, James Blair, Taylor Budowich. Good people. They've been with him before, aggressive. Haven't quite come to a conclusion on the Treasury Secretary. I'm a fan of Scott Bessent, impressive background. Unfortunately, he's tied to the Soros world, which concerns people. Commerce Secretary Linda McMahon. All right, she's done something like this before. Aggressive, tough woman. Seems okay. Federal Communications Commission Chair Brendan Carr seems okay. FBI Director, not a fan of Kash Patel. No. Chris Wray, the current director, would have to voluntarily vacate the position or be fired by Trump before he can be replaced. Chris Wright, Energy Secretary, love it. Comes from the world, fracking guy. Seems excellent. So mixed bag. I'm concerned about actual experience for the actual positions. And again, I know this is a common theme every time we have a new president. I think Matt Gaetz is going to have a hard time getting confirmed. I think RFK is going to have a hard time getting confirmed. I think Pete Hegseth could have a hard time getting confirmed. Christine Noem, I think, may have a hard time getting confirmed. I think the others will sail through pretty quickly, but not excited, hopeful, hopeful. And of course, as you may know, President Trump did not ask my opinion on these things. The other thing I want to bring up today is our lame duck president, Joe Biden, mentally and physically impaired, giving Ukraine the okay to strike Russia with the U.S. supplied long-range missiles. This is the Army Tactical Missile Systems. So in 3 years and 9 months, President Biden has resisted the calls by Ukraine to use long-range U.S. missiles to strike inside of Russia. Now, here we are, 2 months from President Trump taking over as president, and Joe Biden decides to okay this, to greenlight this. We don't have a huge stockpile of these weapons. Russia, of course, could reposition their assets inside their country. And it seems to be motivated by the idea that because North Korea sent troops to Russia, therefore we have the right or the need to do this. Russia has made it clear it will not stand for this. Now, Russia, to some extent, is held back in terms of targets they strike in Ukraine. And of course, this may open up targets of the Ukrainian government, military assets in the western part of Ukraine, stockpiles in a way they haven't attacked them before. I understand that Ukraine has been at a disadvantage because Russia has standoff capabilities to strike Ukraine from Russia, and that's created some real challenges for the Ukrainians, even though they've done a decent job battling with Russia. If Zelensky allows an attack on Moscow with these weapons, that's going to create some real problems for us. We have to keep in mind, Russia is not the army we thought they were. Russia's getting their ass kicked. So is Ukraine, of course. Russia has captured the region they want in southern Ukraine and connecting to Crimea. And they'd be content with that in a peace negotiation. But their military is crap. We've learned this now over 3 years, 2 years, 2.5 years. And if we push Russia to the brink, that is to say, continue to winnow away its conventional military capabilities and push them against the wall, we all know the big risk, and that is tactical nuclear weapons or otherwise used in Europe or maybe even the United States. As I'm talking to you right now, as you're listening to this right now or watching this right now, on our eastern coast, on our western coast, in the Arctic, Russia has submarines ready to fire, ready to go. While Russia may be a conventional army in decay and being beaten down every day, they still have a huge military arsenal in the form of nuclear weapons. And that should be a real concern for all of us. I think this is unfair to Donald Trump, but I think Russia and President Putin will do the analysis here and recognize that President Trump has said repeatedly he wants to end this war. And if President Zelensky were to use these long-range weapons to actually attack Russia in the next 4 to 8 weeks, then I think Russia may hold back a little bit, recognizing that when Trump gets into office, things may quickly change, and that if Russia were to respond in kind, they would escalate things beyond the possibility of some sort of negotiated deal in the first half of 2025. But I think a real slap to the face to President Trump by President Biden as a lame duck guy with a couple months left. This could turn out badly for Biden's posterity, for his time in history. The guy who triggered World War III. That's all I have for you right now. Always try to buy American.